When was the last time you donated blood? Donating blood is a vital public service that can save lives. Here to tell us more about the importance of blood donation and the impact of donating blood on our local communities is Nicholas Lilly, Senior Director of Inova Blood Donor Services. Great to have you, Nicholas. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So there is a national blood shortage right now happening, and we'd like to know, how can the Washington, D.C. region actively contribute to boosting the local blood supply and supporting patients who are in need right now?
Well, yes, really donating blood with Inova is important because of the local impact that we have on the community. All of the blood products that are donated with Inova stay within our area. We actually are the largest hospital-based blood center in the United States. However, we provide blood products to all 5 Inova hospitals, including the only level 1 trauma center in Northern Virginia, which is Inova Fairfax Medical Campus. Additionally, we provide blood products to trauma centers and specialty services at Reston, Winchester Medical, and Virginia Hospital Center. We've got 3 blood centers within the region, as well as community blood drives that are held 7 days a week.
Tell us what steps folks in the community can take to ensure a stable and sustainable blood supply in the future.
Honestly, the best thing you can do is become a regular blood donor. We have donation opportunities 7 days a week. Once again, you can donate whole blood, which is one of the donation options, every 8 weeks. Platelets, another option, you can donate every 2 weeks. Double red cell donations, you can do those every 16 weeks, as well as it's important to know that blood has a shelf life because it's considered a drug. And so, most people are really not aware of that. Only a small percentage of the population donates blood. And really, it would be great if a much larger number of people met that community involvement requirement. So certainly doing everything you can, following us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, or even on LinkedIn, where you can see updates about what's going on with Inova Blood Donor Services.
So for someone who perhaps hasn't donated before, or it's been a long time, let's talk about the donation process. What's it like at Inova for those for whom it's been a while, and can anyone donate?
Well, the donation process, we ask for you guys to give us at least 60 minutes. And really during that time frame, we're going to take you in, have you complete a donor history questionnaire. So it's a behavioral history and health history questionnaire, about 44 questions. After which we'll review that questionnaire with you. We'll do a mini physical. So we'll check your blood pressure, pulse, temperature, and your hemoglobin level or iron level. And if you meet all the requirements, we'll then take you for either what's called a whole blood donation, or if you're interested and you qualify for what's called an apheresis donation. And one thing I like to let people know is that some that are afraid of needles may be concerned with some discomfort. And I would just like to say, that one little pinch that you feel in that one moment is certainly small and very minuscule compared to, what those patients on the other end are feeling before they're able to benefit from your, volunteer donation.
Tell us what happens to the blood product once it's given at Inova and once the donation process is complete.
Once the donation process is complete, the units are shipped to our main location in Sterling. And we're very fortunate to be able to do all of our processing and our testing here at our site. The blood products will be checked in, verified, and then separated and expressed and placed in the proper storage environments. The tubes will be spun and placed into our sample accession area where our testing team within less than 24 hours will perform what's called the relevant transfusion transmitted infections disease testing. And again, if you donate 10 a.m. today, by 10 a.m. tomorrow, that blood product is labeled and ready to be shipped to a patient in need.
Wow, that's incredible. Can you talk a little bit about, in more detail, because you mentioned earlier the different types of blood products that someone can donate. Can you talk a little bit more about that and their significance as they relate to patient care?
Certainly. So when we think about what's in whole blood, so that's the blood that you might see if you get a small cut. It's the blood that's going through our body. That's comprised of white blood cells, red blood cells, platelets, and plasma primarily. And so white blood cells are removed through a process called leukoreduction. It makes the blood safe because my white blood cells may not necessarily be good for you, so on and so forth. So that's the process of leukoreduction. Now we're left with red blood cells, platelets, and plasma. Now, red blood cells are used for more than 70% of all transfusions in patients. They are the oxygen carriers of oxygen and are often given to surgery and trauma patients and those with blood disorders such as sickle cell anemia and other bleeding disorders. Platelets are given to help stop bleeding patients that are recovering from cancer, leukemia, open heart surgery, and transplant surgery. Plasma is commonly given to trauma, burn, and shock patients, as well as those with severe liver disease and multiple clotting deficiencies.
How important is it to have a diverse donor base? And how does having one meet the unique needs of a patient population?
You know, we like to think that our donor population should reflect our patient population. And so when we think about how important it is to have a diverse donor base, you know, it's very important that those within our various communities are taking part in the blood donation process. You know, diverse donors sometimes have unique properties within their blood that has a positive impact on our diverse patient population. So again, it's very important. And we're all about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Just last year, we implemented the FDA's what we like to call Donor History Questionnaire version 4.0, which actually removes all gender biases and other orientation biases from the form. So all donors answer one form because again, diversity is very important to us.
Well, let's talk about the community as a whole, because it's very important for individuals and institutions to get involved in blood donation. Local businesses, schools, organizations, they all play a role in addressing the blood shortage. How can they make a significant impact?
You know, quite frankly, if you have a business, if you're at your school, if you're a volunteer, and you'd be interested in taking part in our community efforts, we'd ask that you be willing to host a community blood drive. We would love to come to you. We certainly currently partner with businesses, religious organizations, government organizations, schools, community organizations. We will go anywhere because we understand that, you know, it's about putting our patients first and making sure that we are as convenient as we can be for the community that we serve. So if you're interested in getting your team members back to work even, we can facilitate a space at one of our fixed sites or another location within the community where you can have your team members come in, congregate, have a wellness event, and donate blood.
Wow, that's terrific. And how have you guys at Inova adapted to hosting blood drives, given, you know, the changing landscape in the workplace over the last few years?
Well, again, it comes down to really finding new ways to do what we do. We certainly have blood drives at gyms, community centers, libraries. We work with restaurant groups. And certainly we also engage with multiple businesses in buildings and office parks. So hypothetically speaking, if a building has 15 businesses in it, and each office only has 5 people, you know, we can aggregate those groups together, because again, it's about coming together as a community, you know, to drive, you know, what's needed to save our patients. So when you think about Inova specifically, we collect 7 days a week, 363 days a year. We're only closed on 2. But specifically Sundays, we know that sometimes that is not always an option for some collection agencies. And so again, it's about convenience and making it work best for what will work for our patients.
You guys have clearly thought outside the box. Can you talk about what role schools and educational institutions can play in integrating blood donation education into their curriculum? Because that seems that would foster a culture of awareness and responsibility among students.
Absolutely. You know, really, we collect probably about 70% of our blood products from September through May, associated with high schools, universities, and community colleges. And we have those drives during school hours. We work with community groups within the schools. It really just kind of comes down to making ourselves available, letting the students and the teachers, the faculty, and those surrounding boards of education understand that blood donation and all the activities associated with it are academic. And, you know, we've offered students to come and do tours. We've had whole school buses worth of students come to our donor site here in Sterling, where they can come in. They can see all parts of our workflow and our operations, from the recruitment process to the collection process to the processing, our materials management, our quality assurance procedures, our hospital services processing area, our testing laboratory, and even our administrative area. So, you know, again, we are more than willing to offer that as a service to the community. We have with many groups, we even our medical director will go out, and even I myself have gone out to schools and spoke to students about the work that we do, because this is an industry and something that people are not very aware of, and it's very important. You know, blood can't be made, and so definitely understanding that blood donations only come from volunteer blood donors, and that, you know, the education and understanding associated with that is critical. Because without volunteer donors, how will we be able to serve the community?
Finally, I wanted to ask about what types of programs Inova has in place to ensure a reliable and available blood supply for catastrophic emergencies, and what proactive measures can be taken to enhance preparedness and response in these critical situations.
Well, you know, we have a very strong emergency and disaster preparedness plan that we enact in terms of testing on an annual basis. However, we also have a partnership with a group called BERC, associated with Blood Centers of America, called the Blood Emergency Readiness Corps. Essentially, it's a national partnership where community blood centers agree on an 8-week turnaround to aggregate products in the event of a national disaster. So, you know, when you think about some of the things that have happened across the country, and the Midwest with tornadoes and some of the national disasters that happen with those sort of events, you know, we've taken part and done our part to provide products there as well. In addition, we also work with local EMS agencies or emergency medical services to provide them with whole blood. So that whole blood is transfused in trauma incidents on helicopters and on EMS vehicles. So we work pretty closely with Northern Virginia EMS Council, as well as several local communities and counties, also in Maryland, not just Virginia. And again, that's some innovation and a new process that came about just before COVID. We started in 2020 providing those products. And today, and really any given day, we have about 50 products out in the community on EMS vehicles, albeit if it's in Stafford County, if it's in Loudoun County, if it's in Howard County in Maryland. We are everywhere out there trying to help the community.
Fabulous. All right, everyone get out and donate. We appreciate it. Really important information. Thanks, Nick. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you.
We've been speaking with Nicholas Lilly, Senior Director of Innova Blood Donor Services. If you'd like more information or to better understand how you can donate, go to innovablood.org or go to WTOP.com and search Get on Top of Your Health. I'm Deborah Feinstein. Have a great day.